everybody, and welcome on the channel for this podcast. It's been a while I haven't recorded an episode with guests, so I'm happy to have some new guests with us today. We have Joe, which I recently met virtually on Twitch because he was streaming Panzer Dragoon Saga, and he's going to explain a little bit about himself in a moment. And we also have two team members or crew members, I don't know how we should call them, from level 857. We already had two of your two person from your team before on the channel, and I'm glad we have two new members with us today to discuss, of course, today topics related to Panzer Dragoon. So what I want to do today is discuss a little bit about Panzer Dragoon Zwei and our expectations, because we've been waiting for this remake for quite a while now, and it's supposed to come out this year. So I think it's a right time to discuss with our guest and see the fans react below the video later what our expectations are with this game. Especially given our personal history with the game, and also following the first remake we had. Does it change our expectations about this remake? We will discuss that with the guest today. I would also like to discuss the reaction of our guest about the project that we announced recently of our Azel Resurrection project, and the questions that our guest may have. And if we have time, and if our guest can still stay a little bit longer with us, maybe we will discuss a little bit about some Saturn games that we would like to see come back in some form. So that's the agenda for today. And now I'll leave you the mic, guys. So who wants to start?
I could start. All right, so
go for it.
Basically, since we're discussing, first I want to talk about a little of the remake that already came out.
Maybe you wanna say a few words about yourself. About the channel.
Yeah, look at me just skipping the whole intro. Look at me.
He can say a lot about himself.
Yeah. Well,
free to cut him off.
Well, on Saturdays I like to. No, I'm just kidding. I am Eric, aka the 23rd Stallion from level 857. Over here we have.
This is also Eric, but my nickname is Big Choc, or Choco for short.
Big Choco. But yeah, I mean, we come from level 857. We got our live podcast on Wednesdays. We have a stream schedule as well. Tuesdays, we have Tetris Tuesdays. We have Thursday, Throwback Thursday, when we play retro games, Fighter Fridays with Big Choco. So yeah, we're always streaming almost every day. And our main thing on the channel is co-op. We love couch co-op. Yeah. A lot of people are just so online with everything nowadays, but we just, we like sitting on the couch and just talking crap to each other. So, that's what we do on our channel.
It's our profession.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else can we say?
That's us in a nutshell. Pretty
much.
All right. Well, my name is Joe, aka jflotrogdor. I'm a Twitch streamer. I mostly focus on. I just kind of go for the stuff that's kind of weird, a little out of the way, stuff that maybe people haven't seen in a while, or just hidden gems, just games that aren't commonly in active conversation. Usually stream Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening, U.S. Central Time, about 5 o'clock. And just coming off of all this Saturn stuff, because I finally got my setup to where I could do this. But I'll go into that later. But but yeah, stream like a lot of old retro stuff as well, and just digging through. I love games where I get to explore and just have worlds that you can just kind of get lost in, and
yeah. So
it's even getting into some of the weirder, more obscure stuff that people are just like, what is that? Like I was doing the old Hideo Kojima point and click games, so like Snatcher and Police Knots.
Oh, wow.
Doing those on stream, and yeah, and just kind of getting to go through it and have fun. Started doing Twitch as a means of hanging out with friends during the pandemic. Um, it's just kind of grown from there. So
Awesome.
that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you, guys. So thank you for this introduction. I'm not sure I mentioned that, but yeah, that's how I met Joe because I saw his stream of the Panzer Dragoon saga. So that's how we came to discuss. And the guys at level 857 already came on stream. Two other team members. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but just to give context. So let's get to the first topic, guys, if you want. Let's talk about Panzer Dragoon Zwei remake. And maybe you guys can explain to us if you've already played this game before. I'm sure some of you have. And what's your expectations are for this remake coming normally this year?
I could go first. Well, after the original was remade, and they had their little issues starting out. They had to release a patch to fix a couple of things, but that probably took, I don't know, maybe a month just to fix all the issues. But I mean, the first one was I thought it was done very well, but I think now going into the second one, I think now they know exactly what to do, and not to come out too early, and just make sure all the problems that happened in the first one don't happen in the second one. And I think they have I believe it's Forever Entertainment that's doing it. Yeah, Forever Entertainment. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, when we spoke to him on our podcast, Ben Onsume, or Ben Awesome, as we like to call him, he was just describing the challenges and stuff like that when they were making the game, the first one. So I can imagine that there's not gonna be any issues coming out the gate for the second one. And I think the second one, just like for the Saturn, blow out the first one out the water. And very excited about it. I just want to see some footage because I really enjoyed the remake on the Switch. So I really definitely would like to check out the second one.
What about the gyroscopic controls? You think they're gonna keep those?
I think they'll keep them. I think they'll keep those controls. I mean, they work pretty well on the Switch, and even though they had to kind of like do things a little bit later.
Yeah.
So, but it's part of when you're remaking like an IP like Panzer's. Those are like those old Sega IPs are just so fragile. So when you take the job of actually doing them, you have to, the music first of all has to be right, and they did the music pretty awesome. I like the music was really good on the remake, but you got to do right by that IP, because we all know how passionate Panzer fans are and passionate Sega fans are. If you mess something up, they're coming after you real quick. So you gotta make sure you come out with something that everybody's happy about. But I'm excited for it. I just want to see like even a teaser. Just give me a little something. Let me see some of that footage.
Did they maintain the gameplay from the first one, from the original two?
Gameplay.
Yeah,
confession,
very much so.
I'm new to Panzer, completely new. I had a Saturn, and it's funny because I was only buying fighting games for my Saturn. I was obsessed with fighting games, but I never got around to playing Panzer. So now that the remakes are coming around, like, what do I have to expect as a newbie to the series?
Yeah. Well, it's a cool way to kind of get into it because the graphics are all cleaned up now. Like let's be honest, PlayStation, Saturn graphics haven't really aged too well over the years with the polygons kind of hanging off and
you
stuff.
Don't say.
Yeah. So since you're new getting into the Panzer, it's like, all right, start off with the remake on the Switch or whatever, and graphics are nice and clean, and then if that hooks you, then you'll be excited about everything else.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So for me, I'm pretty much in the same boat as Eric. I've really enjoyed the remake on Switch, and I'm relatively new to Panzer because I actually didn't get into the Sega Saturn really until about 3 years ago. And it was one that it was a piece of hardware I'd stayed away from a long time just because of notoriously how expensive it was to collect for it. And when they announced the Panzer Dragoon remake in that Switch Direct, I think I'd had the original Panzer Dragoon for maybe like 4 months.
Oh wow.
So it was still very fresh in my mind.
Okay.
The moment, yeah, like I remember when they dropped that trailer, the moment I heard that opening trumpet, I was like,
yes.
oh man, because I knew that was coming. I
That's
knew
all it takes.
Yeah. And again, I actually held off on buying the remake initially just because I heard, it was like frame rate issues, the controls were a little sluggish, and I'm very grateful to the devs, to Megapixel and God bless, why am I blanking on the second one?
Forever.
Yeah, Forever Entertainment. Thank you.
Yeah.
They addressed that real quick.
Yeah, they were quick on that.
They got that knocked out real quick. And so my expectations for the second one are pretty high because a lot of the groundwork has already been done.
Yep.
And a lot of those hurdles have been cleared. So in terms of expectations for the remake itself, I imagine it's probably going to be pretty similar to the first one. It's going to be more or less a 1-to-1. So I know that was a gripe of a lot of people when it came out. They're like, this game's only 30 minutes long. It's like that's the game.
That's what it was.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Exactly.
Like,
and they made it clear that they didn't want to add new content. They wanted to be faithful to the original game.
Very true to the original.
Yeah.
I know, like people were griping about that. I was like, I just paid $60 for the 25-year-old version of this game, and it's 30 minutes. it's like don't mind
30 minutes. I don't know if you can beat it in 30 minutes, even on easy. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not quite. It's a short game, regardless.
Yes,
it's less than an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless
you die a lot.
Yeah, unless you die a lot. Which old school Panzer games, that's very likely. I'm interested to see how that translates, because I remember Zwei is considerably more difficult than the first one. It's gonna be interesting to see how that shakes out. So, but something I have not heard, since you guys have actually spoken to the devs already, are they still under some sort of limited time exclusive agreement with Nintendo, or is it just gonna go full bore out of the gate?
I'm not sure.
Nobody knows about that yet.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, we did that interview a while ago. We were asking him just so many questions, and I know that because I think the main thing I wanted to know from him if they were planning a Panzer Dragoon saga. I was like, everybody wanted to know, but he was he's just like that is a tall that game's a tall task. All right, it really is a
definitely.
It's a tall if you can't do it, I don't want someone like I don't want you doing it if you can't do it. If you got a giant team like a Way Forward or Nicholas or whatever, a Konami or something, like a big team that can actually do it, then I feel comfortable with that. But as far, I know he just said before that, they're definitely, regardless of what was going to happen with the first remake, is regardless if it did good or bad, they're going to do the second one. That's what they signed up for. But
that's kind of the impression I got. Yeah, it's like we've committed to the first two, and Saga was like, we'll see, we don't know.
That's a tall task.
It's a completely different animal. Yeah,
it is.
No, I get that. I get that.
We can come back to that topic in a moment.
Yeah.
But
I'm in the same boat. I want to see it at this point. But we'll see when we get there.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, many people wants to see something, and I believe in a normal situation they would probably have shown something already, because there would have been conventions. Different several occasions to show the game. Because of the COVID pandemic, it's my best guess is that they are probably waiting on a sort of online event. And what kind of event can we expect? Honestly, I don't see this game being highlighted in a PlayStation event. Honestly, I don't see PlayStation doing that. Xbox dubbed it as well. So my best guess is probably coming back in another Nintendo Direct. But I might be wrong. It's just a guess.
Yeah, that would be fine. That'd be fine.
It's as long as we get to see it. I don't care. Somebody needs to show it off.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Seriously. So you guys played the first remake on Switch or on other platforms, or?
I played it on Switch. Yeah.
Okay.
Shame on this guy.
Yeah, I played it.
I would like to try the PC version just to see, just kind of this the disparity in hardware, just something that's a lot beefier, just see how far I could push it.
Yeah.
Well, I
know
played it on.
Go ahead.
I played it on. I had the chance to get some review copies, and I played it on PlayStation 4 Pro, on Xbox One X, and later on PlayStation 5, and which is basically the legacy mode of the PlayStation 4 Pro. There's no enhancement, and same for Series X. As far as I know, it's the same mode as the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
It's definitely nicer visually. It's sharper. So it's more pleasing to the eye. But I'm still surprised that, for instance, the game doesn't load faster on these machines. It's still relatively slow to load, and when you think about it, it's just a rail shooter, so it's basically a long tunnel. So I was a bit surprised by that. But
yeah, I mean, my expectation would be, it's just going to be a bit crisper because you're bumping resolution. You're not necessarily changing assets, but and as far as load times, I mean,
it was a bit better, but not
by much. Well, I mean, you think about how the Switch operates; it's basically all solid state, so it's going to load things regardless of what it is, pretty dang fast. Just by the nature of which it handles its
maybe memory. In terms of raw power, to decompress data.
True. Well, it's like the wacky thing with that is I've been hearing, like, because Monster Hunter Rise just came out on the Switch, and I'm hearing from people that like this game loads faster on the Switch than Monster Hunter World did on a PS4 Pro.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it's stupid fast.
That's insane.
I think a lot of it is probably scalable resolution. It does not run super high, but
optimization.
Yeah, it's optimized for the hardware. That's
awesome.
And I get that, like something like Remake, which was a smaller dev team, this was not, Capcom. Throwing a lot of weight behind it, but smaller dev team, you may not have necessarily the time or the resources to throw optimization in there because that's all kind of polish toward the tail end of development. But I mean, for what it is, it's a little, that is kind of a bummer to hear that the load times aren't better on beefier, on more powerful hardware, but
you would think
so. Just a little bit, and I was surprised because I had an SSD in my PS4 Pro, so it was not the standard PS4 Pro, and even that did not do much of an improvement on this game in terms of load time. So it was better than Switch, but not
by
as good as I think it could have been for a game like that, for a tunnel game, if you know what I mean. So maybe Zwei Remake will improve on that front as well.
Again, it's they know what they're doing now, so hopefully they can get a little bit more polish on it this time around. So
they should take their time and just get it done right.
Get it right.
I'd rather have a perfect game late than a bad game early.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Yeah, the early reviews of the first remake, I think they really hurt this game. Hopefully for Zwei Remake, the first impression will be good and will bring more new players, and that's what we want. More players to enjoy this series. I think we can grow 2021. Let's go for it.
Yeah, and the more interest it gets, that you're one step closer to getting Sagas done.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then you get that done, then it's just going to snowball into other remakes coming.
Please.
Yeah.
So I hope they get it right.
They will. I have faith. I have faith in them. They did a good job on the first one, despite the problems at the beginning. But they solved them quick and they got that out the way. And the cool thing is that on the Saturn, as many people that like Panzer Dragoon 1 is the worst in the series. So if you like part 1, the other ones get ready for it. You're going to be happy with what part 2 is, or Order was awesome on the Xbox, and Saga is just one of the, not many people were exposed to that, and people need to see it regardless of what's going on. They need to be exposed to that game. So
I think what you said is right. Most people prefer Zwei over the first game, but there are people who prefer the first game. It's always down to preferences, but I think Zwei really improved in terms of atmosphere. It's darker. It's more cohesive. It's more mysterious, I think, in my opinion. And there is more of a story developing in the background. The first game itself,
absolutely,
it's light in terms of story.
And there's more incentive to replay Zwei, because you have the different paths depending on your performance. You have different evolutions your dragon can take.
Yep.
There's just it's really fun that you can play through it half a dozen times and get a different experience.
Yep.
So,
and that's one thing I'm really excited about, the different forms of the dragon. I made a post on the Patreon about that. When there is a game that is all like that, you don't have many details on the models because it's very early 3D. So I'm really curious how they are going to remake these dragons, because of course the Blue Dragon, we had concept arts, we had Moebius concept art, we had many 3D models. So it was quite easy to imagine how the dragon would look in 3D in our era in 2021. But for the different forms of the dragon in Zwei, I'm really curious how they are going to render that in full 3D with the technology we have today, because there are so many different forms.
Yeah, there's a lot to play with. There's a lot to play with when it comes to the dragon, especially with today's technology. And back then, you got little. It looks like little pieces.
Limited.
Yeah, looks like pieces of paper hanging off. But like nowadays, it's you just don't know what they can do, and it's pretty exciting to think of. Just if they just pull it off, decent, it's gonna look insane. Really, really insane.
Yeah, really curious about that. So hopefully we get a glimpse at least of what this game is going to look like. Everybody is really waiting for something. we want to know how it's going to look visually, because as you said, the first game and Zwei were so different visually. So I wonder if we will also have this sort of disconnect between those two games from color palette. I'm very curious. Hopefully we will find out soon about that.
Okay, we'll hear something over the summer.
Probably like E3.
That's what I would hope. So that somebody, one of these online press conferences, somebody's going to drop the first trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like we have a ton of those coming up this summer again.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
need something, man. Need something.
No conventions. All right. Just give me trailers and gameplay. I want to see it all.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
True. So I believe we are pretty much done with Zwei remake. And if you don't have anything to add, guys, maybe we can move to the next topic.
Sure.
Okay.
That's cool.
So Panzer Dragoon Saga. So before we discuss about our project, we know Joe recently played the original Panzer Dragoon Saga game, and he streamed it on Twitch. What about you guys?
Us?
I know he played.
Yeah, you guys.
You never played Saga, right?
Nope.
Never played Saga. So I played Saga like when it came out. Like around the same time when Shining Force 3 came out for the Saturn, I played Saga. And the funny thing is, my type of role-playing game to play is strategy role players. I love strategy role players. So Panzer Dragoon Saga, I thought at first was, like the direct sequel to Zwei, and you played the same way. And I was like, oh, this is a role-playing game. I'm like, this looks weird. I don't know if I can get into this. And Turbo857, who was on your show before, he played it first, and he's like, this game is amazing. And I'm like, role playing with, Panzer. I'm like, I don't know what the drag. And I played it, and I was like, oh, wow, this is something special. This is a special game. It was really, I was immersed into that game, really. And the sad thing about it, they didn't make too many copies of that game because it was at the end of the Saturns. Same thing with Shining Force. There wasn't not many. Still to this day, not many people know there was a Shining Force 3, and not many people know about Panzer Saga. So, I think I have the physical somewhere in my garage somewhere, but that goes for so much money online. Like if you have a perfect copy, people are like,
Ridiculous.
it's like 17, like almost like 1700. I'm like,
Yeah.
what what is going on? Like, this is crazy. But I love the game. It's if I see a remake of that, oh my gosh, people need to experience that, like, big time.
So it went from shooter to RPG.
But it was still kind of a shooter too.
It's like action shooter RPG.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously still very fresh in my mind. It's the combat is it's not traditional turn-based. It's kind of typical of the time. It was like an ATB gauge, like Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
It's like whoever got meter first, you got to go.
Yeah.
And the combat is tactical in the sense of your position relative to the enemy. Like you had to move around them and get into the right spot to be able to open up their weak points or avoid getting hit really hard.
I found that very cool. I like
it.
That.
It's actually really engaging.
That's
and
cool.
I've never played another RPG like that.
No.
That movement was the big thing. Instead of, oh, well, I'm going to hit him with this status ailment or whatever. It's like, no, I need to come over here, wait to get my opportunity, then come back in and, smack him really hard and then get out again. And it keeps you on your toes. It was really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's something you gotta. If there was a way that you could play that, like it, even though the graphics don't hold up like crazy, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it is definitely worth it.
I'd still play Dragon Force now.
Yeah, Dragon Force. Hell yeah, man.
I mean,
seriously,
yeah.
no, those...
I was actually playing my 360 this morning.
Yeah.
So obviously, Joe, you answered the question I was going to ask you. You obviously enjoyed the game.
Yes. So, I actually do have something of a history with it, despite never playing it until now. If you'll indulge me in a little bit of a kind of a story. But back around when it came out, I somehow got my hands on an issue of EGM, which is Electronic Games Monthly.
Yes.
Old video game publication here in the States. And I don't remember where I got it or how I got it, but at the time I was just dyed in the wool Nintendo kid. Only had Nintendo hardware. I had a subscription to Nintendo Power, all that stuff. And I remember going through this magazine and seeing, public video game reviews and stuff from other systems and some things I'd never heard of. I remember going through that. I was like, what the heck is a 3DO? And,
some people still ask that.
Yeah. And one of the games in that issue was their review for Panzer Dragoon Saga. And I read through the article and I remember thinking, it's like, this looks really cool. And I like the different forms the dragon can take. And I don't remember, I remember looking at the photos a lot. And I remember their takeaway was insanely positive. They gave it like a 9.5 or something.
Yeah, I think
like
I remember
that.
it was a 9 or a 10. It was really, really high.
Yeah, they're like, if you own a Saturn, you owe it to yourself to play this game.
Yep.
And so it was always kind of in the back of my mind. And as I became more aware, it started getting other hardware outside of Nintendo stuff later on. It was one I was always interested in playing, but by that point, it was already fetching like better part of $1,000 online. It was just one of those kind of, I always called it was a unicorn game.
Yeah.
It's so exceedingly rare. And I'd always held off on the Saturn because it was so expensive. I had Dreamcast, I had Genesis, but around 2016 or so, I remember seeing the article. This goes into the setup I had to get to play this dang thing. An article, I think it was on Kotaku, and the headline was, after 20 some odd years, somebody has finally cracked the Saturn's DRM. And there's an electrical engineer out of Australia who goes by Professor Abrasive. And he he basically cracked open, he did a ROM dump of the CD block in the drive. He's like, I figured out how this thing works. And using that, he developed an add-on for the Saturn called the Satiator, which, if you're not familiar, basically uses the video card port on the back of the Saturn, and it's a flash card. You just slap it in there with an SD card and it just loads games.
Whoa.
and that was one of the first things. I was like, holy crap, I can finally play Panzer Dragoon Saga without having to drop like $1,500 on a game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was, they finally it took them, it was a one-man project, so it took them a couple of years to get it
Oh, I can imagine.
everything ironed out and get it going. And I got my hands on mine in December and got it set up, and that was one of the first things. Was like, I'm gonna save Panzer Dragoon Saga for the stream. And I was in the midst of a couple other things at the time, but finally got around to it. And overall, yeah, my take on it was I always try to look at games like this through two lenses. One is looking at it in terms of their proper context, thinking of it, this is a game that came out in 1998 on, at that point, 4-year-old hardware. And to look at it, try and look at it through the lens of it playing it in 1998. And then, of course, playing it now, like modern gamer sensibilities and everything that we know. In the lens of it being like a 1998 game, it holds up very well. I think it is certainly worth all the acclaim it's gotten. For a Sega Saturn game, which was notoriously not friendly to 3D graphics, it has aged very well. The fact that the whole thing's in 3D, it's like almost fully voice acted.
Yeah,
it's very impressive. It was, and you can tell this was the swan song of the Sega Saturn, in the same way as like Ghost of Tsushima was for the PS4. It's like we know how to work this thing now, and just get every ounce of power out of it that we can. And I even had, a couple friends of mine who were in the chat hanging out with me, and they kept commenting like, this is really impressive.
It is. It's a work of art. It's a work of art, that game. Really,
and
is.
It was a work of love too. You can tell, like they really put a lot into it. And yeah, gameplay wise, it's very engaging. It's a lot of fun. As modern gamer, there are a couple things that I would have like that feel like it kind of dates it a bit, outside of obviously the visuals, but just some gameplay design stuff. Like, okay, I can see how like that wouldn't fly with modern gamers as much.
Random battles, yeah.
Well, not even so much the random battles. Like there are times the game can be a bit obtuse. Like when I was finishing the game, I wandered around the map for like an hour trying to figure out how to trigger the next cutscene. And it turns out I was supposed to talk to this one NPC that I'd walked by like 15 times.
Oh man,
that's old school right there.
That's super old school.
That's really old school.
There's no indication that I had to talk to this guy.
They won't tell you a damn thing. You're just roaming around.
No clues.
No clues. And so like stuff like that. But at the same time, were this to get remade, would I change that? Maybe put like a little blinking triangle over his head or something.
Maybe, yeah. Nothing that gives it away too much. But
just give you some inkling as to where to go.
Yeah.
But overall, it holds up very well. It's still a pretty fun game. And it being it's one thing that always blows me away with the Saturn. You can tell of the consoles of its day, Sega put a lot of money into their sound processors.
Yeah.
Saturn games sound incredible. This one was no exception. But yeah, overall, I had a blast with it. And it's something that like somebody kept telling me, I think you asked me, Olivia, that, did you find all the D unit stuff, which I did end up finding all of those. So I got the blue form, but I did not end up getting the final one, the final evolution of the dragon. And somebody asked me like, well, why don't you go hunt that down? I was like, but that gives me an excuse to play this again later. I can come back to it. And I did. It is one I will probably revisit in the future. So, which says a lot for me. I'm somebody who doesn't play a lot of RPGs anymore. So for me to be able to say that, to commit to like, yeah, I'll play through this again. This was a lot of fun. Particularly a game that has aged noticeably the last 23 years. I think it says a lot. I would say it's, and I'm very much in that boat too, that more people need to play this.
Yeah.
It is sad how limited that initial run of them, the only run of them ever was. But was it like, I think it was 126,000 copies worldwide.
Yeah,
What?
no, it's barely anything. It's telling you that in Shining Force 3, they just released a bunch, and that was it. It was nothing. It was nothing.
If I remember right, because I remember watching Matt McMuscles did a video on Panzer Dragoon Saga, his What Happened series. And if I remember his numbers, it was Japan got 100,000 copies, which is why you can still find them for like $50. They're cheap. US got 25,000.
Yep, that makes sense.
PAL territory got 1,000.
Yeah, that makes complete. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you can find a European copy,
yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
I remember we did not get much of those games over here. And if you weren't a big fan,
how'd you even get your hands on it?
Because we're big fans. Like I
pre-order.
And you get, it's like as soon as like it. No, I just day one, because not many people had a Saturn in the first place. Like
exactly.
Yeah, not many people had Saturn, so it's like, and not many people even heard of this game. So I knew about that. I knew about Shining Force 3, and as soon as they came out, we both bought. Let me try that again. Bought both of those, both of those day one, and yeah, and that was it. But like, I didn't like after owning that and playing it for a while, and time goes on, new systems come out. I didn't know that nobody knew about these games, and when you go on eBay and you check out how much they go for, your mind is blown.
Oh yeah,
completely blown.
You never think about the future in terms of like, oh, this could be like there's a little bit of that now, but yeah, back in the 90s, like I bought this game because I wanted to play it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You mentioned getting it back then. I had a buddy, a very good friend of mine from college. Like we're still friends to this day, but guy I met in college. He had Panzer Dragoon Saga, Saturn, bunch of games, and when he was at school, his dad cleared out his room and sold all his stuff.
Oh my!
He is still sore about that. He's like, freaking sold my Saturn.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
So that was like around like 2002, 2000.
I would have to sell my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That hurts to even hear.
I know.
That's not cool.
Oh,
that's not cool. Oh,
yeah,
I would cry probably.
I think he did. Now that I think about it, I think he did.
I can't blame him. I can't, not one bit.
I think that happened. He popped into the chat when I was playing it one night, and he was like, "Freaking dad!" He was selling my crap.
He sees the game, and now he doesn't have a good memory with it anymore.
Yeah, he did. He was like, "Oh, I remember this game. It's so good." But yeah, there's just that little knife in there that
I remember.
Yeah,
just to segue for a little while, for a little bit. I remember. I forgot. I think I was in college, and I went home to play my Nintendo, and it wasn't there.
Your original Nintendo, NES.
The original NES, and it wasn't there because apparently my sister gave it to her boyfriend at the time.
Oh my god!
I never saw it again.
How do you just give somebody someone else's?
Never.
Like, how do you do that?
Well, no, I mean it was ours, but I was not consulted on that decision.
Yeah.
And the fact that this happened so long ago, I'm still like
that you feel a certain way.
Still, yeah.
Like, man, give away my Nintendo
preference.
Yeah. And I think I still have Double Dragon 2.
Yeah.
I still have the first Ninja Turtles game for Nintendo, which no one should ever play.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah.
There's certain memories with that, but a lot of painful ones.
Yeah. Mostly painful. But yeah, sorry.
So you just have games and no console.
for that Nintendo? Yes.
Now I don't know, my family, we're in some ways we're kind of pack rats, because I was digging through this was years ago, but I was digging through a closet for something, and I started like, what the hell? It looks like video game cartridges. What is it? It's an Atari 2600. What the hell is this doing in here? Wow. And no, open the box up. There's 2 of them in there. To this day, my parents are like, we have no idea where the second one came from. But I started tweaking around with them. They both still work.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I actually I had to do repair on one of them. But you open them up, man, they're so like brain dead simple in terms of their layout. Just, I mean, it's electronics built back in the late 70s. But yeah, the fact that I tell people, it's like, these things are older than I am, and they still work.
That's amazing.
They don't make them like that no more.
No.
Nope. But,
That's cool though.
Yeah, and my even when I was away, my parents are gracious. No, like, nah, that's Joe's stuff. Just put it in a closet. He'll come back for it.
As long as they don't throw it out.
Yeah.
I mean, at least your friend's dad sold it and got some sort of money for it. Like, imagine just throwing it out. Just like, here, gone, garbage. What?
Yeah. Especially,
it's legit under a banana peel right now. Why would you do that?
Especially like Saturn, though. Saturn is so that, like, it's funny because, you know, on our show, on our podcast, we have our own likes and our own favorite systems growing up, and Saturn always hits home with me because my favorite game all time is on there, and there's so many special games on that system, and there weren't too many of those special games made. And you know, the fact that, you know, a lot of these IPs are being ignored, you know, like you know, thank God Panzer's making a comeback, but there's so many that are so good. And it's not just like a preference thing, you know, like we like our own little quirky games that a lot of people don't like or whatever, but these are epic games. Epic, like 10 out of 10 type games that no one's ever experienced, and that are just sitting.
That was my thing when I jumped in and on the Saturn. I bought my first one in 2018 in anticipation for getting my hands on a satiator. I did build up a small collection of games over the last few years, but within like the first 6 months of owning it, I was like, I wanted to go back in time and punch like 12-year-old me in the face. So I was like, why didn't you get on this? This thing is amazing.
No, there's so much.
And every time I did it, when I would take it over to friends' houses and we'd play, you know, we would play like Panzer Dragoon or like what else? What I got over there? Like Virtua Cop or World Series Baseball or something like that. Like people would just be like, it's like, man, this thing is a ton of fun. And it's like, I know. It's
and that's no, go ahead.
It also scratched an itch in me because I'm one of my, like, if you had to settle into a weird niche thing to collect for video games, I'm a big fan of light gun games.
We have a couple on the channel too.
Yeah. And the Saturn had some fantastic ones.
Yup. House of the Dead.
This one's getting remade as well.
I heard. I heard about that. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was one I remember that has not aged as well. My buddy and we played through Area 51.
Oh, I remember this game. Oh my god.
It's like, it's so cringy in certain parts, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's the point. It's all about that fun factor, man.
Yeah, I remember Saturn gave me my first Dragon Ball game that I ever owned. It was Dragon Ball Z Legends, and it was by far, and like looking back, like it was fun at the time, but like if I tried to play it now, I'd probably vomit. But like I used to go back to that one store, a couple towns away, like almost every week to ask them, like, yo, when are you getting this game?
Was it Funko?
No, it was Game Express.
Oh, Game Express.
Oh, I remember Game Express.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure. I own a Dragon Ball Z game on the Saturn, but I'm not sure it's the same one. Is it the one with the red and blue bar? Or?
Yes, the one with the red and blue bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when you have the advantage, you can do a final move or something like that.
Yeah, when you fill up the bar for your side, you do a special attack. Awesome. So awesome.
And back in those days, you had that or GT Final Bout, and that was about it. So, yeah, exactly. The Choco's got the right reaction there, man. That game is something.
The best part about that game was the opening.
Yeah,
I think. And then maybe the credits when you knew you could turn it off.
You knew you could turn it.
Oh man. And I was a fighting game junkie for Saturn, of course. So I had X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Fighting Vipers, Fighters Mega Mix, Last Bronx, and
Virtual On.
I got most of the way through Cyberbots on stream, Full Metal Madness. Which, if you haven't, like, man, I like just the idea. I love stupid concepts in a game. It's like, dude, I am playing a mecha version of Akuma right now, fighting other robots.
Yeah, man.
Saturn's special, man. It's a special system. I really, really love that system.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, it really
Give me
has
some remakes.
Yeah, or at least someone buy the library so we can just play it on another system.
That's fine.
Well,
too.
I mean, a lot of them got ported to the Xbox 360. Surprising number.
Saturn games.
Yeah, not like, I mean, it wasn't like a comprehensive thing, but like some you'd be surprised, like Guardian Heroes.
Guardian Heroes, yep, that got ported over. Yep,
they got ported over.
Love that game.
I'm trying to remember which
game.
else. Did they do? I don't think it was Shining Force 3, but wasn't there a port of some of the Shining Force games?
Crap. I don't know about the 360. I know there was a kind of I don't know if it was a remaster or remake that was on the handheld for the part 1. Part 2, I don't remember there being a remake or anything or a port. If I missed that, I'd be very upset with myself because I love part 2.
I don't think you would have missed it.
Yeah. I don't think they did that.
You've been scouring the earth for Shining Force.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would know. If there was, I'd probably have to leave the set for like 5 minutes and start screaming in the corner.
Yeah, start throwing chairs and stuff. Yeah. It won't be pretty.
No, they put Guardian Heroes on there, and I love Guardian Heroes. Holy shit, I love that game.
I would run through that game again any day of the week.
I played it recently, like a month ago. Yeah. I played it recently, and it's
great.
There's no such thing as aging with that game. There's no aging. It holds up forever. That game is so
the
fucking
opening
good.
To that game was sick.
So good. So good. And then they released a terrible sequel on the handheld that is not a sequel in my opinion. It is a piece of garbage.
That one had none of the original characters in it, right?
No, they had like the main characters looked like the characters from like Gunstar Heroes, and the enemies were from Guardian Heroes, but like the action was terrible. It was just bad. They just ruined the game completely. So it doesn't exist in my opinion.
Complete denial.
Yep, it never happened. Never happened.
So I just realized, man, I just started a tangent. That was
no, it's always interesting. Yeah.
To answer your question, yes, I like the game.
Wait, what was the question?
That's what those see. That's how you know. That's Saturn for you, man. That's those games.
Yeah.
You just talk about it forever because I call them passion projects because they're made from a special. They're not just games that are made. They're very special and they hold up regardless of how ugly they are.
Yeah,
you know. But
yeah. As the community already knows, Panzer Dragoon Saga is also very special to me. I didn't own a copy back then. I had very few games on the Saturn. I only had Sega Rally Championship, Worldwide Soccer because my brother was a fan of soccer. I had Dragon Ball Z, the one you mentioned. I think it's the same one. Fighters Megamix a little bit later, and I think that's about it. The rest was demo disc because in Europe we could have some demo disc with the Sega magazine. So I could play Panzer Dragoon Zwei, the Forest, the Taboo Forest there was the full stage on this demo disc.
Oh, cool.
That's how I got exposed to Panzer Dragoon, I think, initially. And then later, a friend of mine, I could borrow Panzer Dragoon Saga from him. And I'm so thankful to this guy now. I talked to him recently and I said, look, what I'm doing because of you.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's great. Not going to make a whole rant about why I created this community because I think the Panzer series deserve more love. So I saw nothing happening. So I thought I could do something in my own way. So created this community, and later we had some artworks for unofficial artworks for a possible Panzer Dragoon remake. They leaked on I'm not sure if it was on Reddit or 4chan. I think it was on 4chan. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. But the first wave, the first picture that leaked was not really convincing to me. But it's the second wave that was really something special and that started me thinking that the vision behind these concept arts was really good and was really on point for the Panzer Dragoon saga, for what a remake could potentially be, the art direction it could take. So that's when I started covering this topic a little bit more, and we had a third wave of images with a code, a fake code, something that the artist had created from scratch. And it was cool to discuss that with the community and break this code and see what message was encrypted behind that. So yeah, there was a little bit of hype about it, and I didn't know who was behind those leaks at the time. It's only been a few months later that the artist behind these images contacted me and told me that he was working on something on his free time with some other people. I still didn't know very much about it. I kept it, quiet because, for me it was just another fun project. Why would I talk about it more? It was cool of him to talk to me about it a little bit more. But it's only been very recently that we discussed again, and he shared his ideas, how we could, start involving the community more in this process. And also, he's shown me a lot more of the work that they have done in the background, something that we will be showing. Little by little, but they have already worked quite a lot about the research and development, how they want to design the game, the core gameplay, etc. Don't worry, it's just my camera who's pausing every 40 minutes, I think, or I'm not sure how much it's at the DSLR, so it's doing that. And yeah, that's how they convinced me to get on board, because what I saw, it was unlike anything I had seen before. In a few minutes, you will be able to share your opinions about that, but it was unlike anything I had seen before since the original Panzer Dragoon saga game. Even Orta for me is a great game in terms of gameplay, but it's a little bit different in terms of art direction and story. So I would go as far as saying that this vision is probably the best thing I have seen since Panzer Dragoon saga in 1998. So obviously I'm biased now because I'm part of the project, but even before, just as a fan, I was really impressed with the art. So I'm not going to make a full rant about it. It's probably better if you guys maybe share your impressions and ask your question if you have, because I'm really curious what kind of questions you guys may have about this. Who wants to start?
Yeah, go for it, Joe.
Well, first off, because you pointed me toward it while I was actually playing the game, so we actually checked it out on stream. I have to say, I too was very impressed by the art, the updating of the art design. And I've seen the trailers that you guys have put up and some of the conceptual art as well as the 3D renders. I love the way y'all have updated the dragon designs. Looks fantastic. I guess most of the questions I would have are probably it's stuff you guys would need to worry about like 2 years down the line. Because right now you're still kind of just in the concepting phase and getting things running in Unreal. But I'm certainly excited to see where this goes. I know it says right up front in the Patreon, it is not necessarily our intent to make a full finished game.
Well, it's our intent, but we can't commit right now because there are
There's
questions as you
legality and such. Yeah. And I guess that would be my question then for at this stage of the game. If it gets developed along enough, if the Resurrection Project gets developed to a point where you feel you would you pitch it to Sega?
We would like to. I mean,
I'll do it. I'll pitch it to Sega if I have to.
Look at this! Come on!
Yeah, it might
That
not
looks
be
amazing.
It might not be in the way you want me to present it. It might be a little angry, but I'll get the job done though.
He's passionate.
They will know about it. That is for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure they've already seen. Our
But yeah,
stuff.
you've gotten some reaction. I saw that.
Yeah, I've had some. I'm not going to give too much details here, but they probably have an eye on us, and but it makes sense. I mean, that's what I said. I mean, what we said on the Patreon. We want to prove to the fans and to Sega that it's the right thing for the series, for the game, and they decide. I mean, they can, they potentially. I feel they can crush us at any time if they want to. But should they do that? I mean, what's the alternative? What do we have?
Thankfully, Sega has a history of being pretty cool about that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, so long as you guys are not directly trying to sell their IP and profit off of it, they're like, have fun. And
I'm going to say it to you straight away. I mean, most of the people are very positive about our project. There is a very small minority who think we are trying to make money, but honestly, this is only pocket money. There are several people working on this project at the moment. They do that on their free time. This kind of artists with their skills, if they had to charge the salary for what they would do on their studio, I mean, the patrons are more like a support to show us that, okay, this is the right direction. This is the right art direction. We want to involve you, so this is one way for us to involve them. But it's not going to be enough to pay for the whole game.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, certainly.
Nah.
That's I mean, I had no illusions about that. I did end up backing on Patreon. After
thank you.
Looking through everything, and I was like, okay, this is cool, and it allows like as you said, it allows me a line of direct feedback to what you guys are working on. But Sega has taken the approach of, with some of their IPs, their focus, their money right now is on Yakuza and Phantasy Star, and I mean, rightfully so. It makes them money, and they're very popular. They're good games, but a lot of the stuff has kind of fallen by the wayside, and they let other developers handle it. But I mean, what the ideal solution or situation I see this going is basically what happened with Headcanon and Sonic Mania. And they started out making Sonic fan games, eventually got the green light from Sega to make one. And I'm not sure if you've played it yet, Olivia, but Sonic Mania is a fantastic Sonic game.
Incredible.
I have it. I must admit something. I have it, and I heard it's a very good game. I bought it on Switch, but my problem is
time.
No. 2D Sonic games never clicked with me. I'm sorry, I said it.
That's
I'm
fair.
sorry. I tried because I heard it's a really good game. I tried again. Maybe I'll try again later.
That's Sonic had no dragons in it. That's why he didn't want to play it.
But that's perfectly okay. Everybody has their own tastes, but like I said, I could see that's the ideal situation. Is you guys throw this at Sega and they're like, okay, what can you do? And then that opens up the license. And because that's like I said, the questions I had about being a couple years down the line would be the big thing I would have is the audio, because there's a lot of dialogue in this game. And would you attempt to re-record it? Would you just lift it out of the old files, or what? And the latter obviously poses some legal issue.
We probably would have to re-record it, because I mean, the idea behind this project is not to only do one
visual update
remake. We want to do something more.
Okay.
So and I think it would be a good opportunity.
Yeah. But again, that's a bridge you guys aren't going to have to cross for a while. So and to answer your question about the license, it's obviously something we would like to discuss with Sega at some point. We want to show more of our progress first to the fans, definitely,
and then later to Sega as well, and then we can start thinking about how we could make a very serious business plan and show that to Sega.
I could certainly see you guys holding off until you have something playable that you could actually put it in their hands. So,
and obviously, I mean, there are many possible outcomes to this. It could become an official Panzer Dragoon licensed game. It could become its own IP. The assets can be modified,
Yeah.
Once the core gameplay, everything has been made in the background, the mechanics, etc., battle system, etc. You can change the assets. It's feasible. And if really nothing more than that if no game can happen from that, we still have some great concept arts, and we can do at least, at the very least, a nice art book out of all these concepts. So,
and it, spinning it off into its own thing. If it comes down to that, if it's done with love, I have no problem with a spiritual successor. So.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario, we get a spiritual successor to Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Yeah, I really care about the Panzer Dragoon license myself, so I really hope we can, materialize this project into I've always wanted to see a modern remake of Saga. I'm sure something cool will happen.
Definitely was getting the when I was watching the teaser, I was definitely getting Final Fantasy VII type vibes from it, from what they did for the remake for that. Like everyone swears by the Final Fantasy VII, for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then, Styx, who was on your show before, who's, huge Final Fantasy fan. And what they done with that remake is insane. So I always would say Panzer Saga needs to be done on that kind of a scale. I think that's the proper way for it to be done. And that's the kind of vibe I was getting from the teaser, that it seemed like that grand and that epic of a presentation that's the only way you could show that game off the right way.
Yeah, that teaser, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was just watching. I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, wow.
I just wanted to keep watching because it's the magic of Panzer was there. And when the magic is there, everything else is just easy. When you grasp the magic of a series, that's when everything else falls into place. If you don't have the magic, that's when crap happens, and then everyone gets angry. But when you get the magic of it, that's a great thing to have. And the cool thing is about Sega, even though I'll always talk crap about Sega because they have so many IPs that they're just letting sit there, they do listen to people. If people are like, hey, I want to do, they're like a cool version of Konami. Okay. Konami has IPs and they don't care. They have Castlevania, they don't care. Konami does not care. Sega's like, I don't really want to work on it, but if you do, show me something. Yeah. And we could work something out. Like, look at Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage 4 is incredible.
It really is.
It's a fantastic game.
That is incredible. It blew my mind. Now, if you could do something like, Sonic Mania, incredible. And I hear they're working on I saw a thing for Alex Kidd being remade, and you could switch between the old graphics and new graphics. That looks insane. I'm not sure when that's coming out because of COVID and everything, but these companies that are taking on these IPs are putting that magic from those Sega games in there. So like if we can get, if Sega doesn't, look at, your project and say, if they say no, I can't even fathom them forming the words no to not allow that to happen. Yeah, because the magic's there. They have to be like, oh yeah, this is exactly, if we were to do this nowadays, this is exactly how we should do it. And if they don't do it, they're stupid.
So I feel like all these games that are being remade by people who love the IP.
Yeah, they have memories with they have memories with it. They have a bond to it, and those are the people and the community also. They have a bond to it.
Yep.
And those are who you want in charge of it. Same thing with things like Golden Axe. People always rumor Golden Axe being remade, and ever since Streets of Rage, everyone's calling for a Golden Axe. So, these are things that people never forget, but you got to get the right people behind them to do it.
Definitely.
And that's what I saw in the trailer. I was like, oh, this is oh, if this has happened, you know, I know it's definitely, you know, take some time, but definitely be
looks
worth it.
Great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
it almost looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when you mentioned the Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly. I was just about to bring
just
that
like,
up too.
I was like, that reminded me of Final Fantasy Advent Children when I looked at that movie after playing the original Final Fantasy. I'm like, wow.
Imagine if there's a game like this, and then they made a game like that. So
They made a game that looked better than Advent Children.
Better than Advent Children.
Yeah, it did look better because I look back at Advent Children after playing the remake. I was like, ew.
Yeah,
It's a bit rough. It's a bit rough.
The facial animations are a little weird, and the mouth doesn't match up.
And that's what I've heard about FF7 remake was, yeah, at the high end you had guys like Nomura and Katase who worked on the original, but the boots on the ground people, they were all devs who work for Square now, but they grew up playing Final Fantasy VII and they love Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
And what you're talking about, Olivia, that's what we want. That's what gamers as fans want. We want people who, at the end of the day, it's like we want these big companies to give a shit about these things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that's really cool that you notice a similarity to how ambitious Final Fantasy VII remake is, because our devs they are ambitious as well, and they really see this project as something that can be potentially as ambitious as Final Fantasy VII remake. It may sound a little bit arrogant, but I think we need to try to be ambitious with this game for once.
It deserves it.
And
so.
I mean, it's a franchise that's in that title specifically, it's just gathering dust right now. Yeah. So you might as well shoot for the moon. I mean, just go crazy.
Yeah.
And what I like about that,
your own hype, who will?
Yeah. And I like that they really have the talent, the vision, and they understand what was cool in the original game. You know, something I instantly loved as well in the original game. The fact that your dragon can morph at some point in the games, I think it's really cool and really epic. And I've seen very, very few games do that. And I think in a modern, with the current technology, it could be really, really epic. I mean, imagine your dragon transforming just after an epic battle. I don't know, and they have some really cool ideas that I'm really on board with. I don't want to spoil the surprises, but there are some really, really cool ideas.
Nope, you can't do that.
Too early.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Too early.
We have some patrons now, so we need to give them the benefits of the early access at least.
Yeah,
exactly. And also,
well, I'm here, so it's okay.
I was just about to say, he's one.
I am one. It's okay.
I mean, as you can imagine, there are some areas where Panzer Dragoon Saga shows its age. For instance, you have a map, and you can travel. You can teleport from point to point. Obviously, we don't want to do that in a modern remake, right? So you can imagine that it's going to be more about
more open
traveling
world,
more freely. You know, you can imagine.
You did. I think you did mention that in one of the patron posts. So you're not letting something out of the bag.
Well, but was it public? I'm not sure.
He's sweating over there.
I'm trying to remember where I read that one. I'm trying to remember where I read it. I did read something to that effect on the patron, but it was like, we're toying with the idea. We don't know. You know, I guess things are still very conceptual right now.
It's 2021. We don't want to make a one-to-one remake with your point your dragon traveling from point A to point B. I think it's not really fun anymore. So obviously we need to be careful
if you can't see it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We don't want to fall into this trap of some of the modern open worlds. You know, it can become boring, and I've seen one of our patrons mention that, and I fully understand that because I've experienced that myself. The burnout on some of those, especially on the Ubisoft games. I've been a fan of the Assassin's Creed games since the very first game, and I know how much burnout I've been on the last 3 games, because there are too, especially the very last one, I still have not finished it. There is just too much content, and the map is just too big. So we don't want to fall into this trap with this project.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And even if we wanted to, I'm not sure the team would be able to create a map that big. Obviously it takes resources as well. So it's nice to have a limited amount of people working on that, because it will also mean that we will focus on what matters the most. So obviously the team can expand if the project goes in a good direction. But my point is, don't worry, we are gamers as well, and at least I am, because obviously the developers, as they are professional, they spend less and less time playing, but that's where I can also, add some value there, as I will be testing their demos and providing feedback as well. Some of the devs can play as well, but my point is, we understand that open world can be both good and bad.
It's definitely a double-edged sword. Yeah, I mean, I've heard the complaint. At the worst case scenarios, you have a game what's referred to as it's miles wide and inches deep. It's like this. Oh, it's this massive game world, and you can do like these 6 things in it, and it's a trap you can fall into very easily.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. For me, the best balance I've seen in this generation in terms of opening but not opening it too much was God of War. I really enjoyed the linearity of this game, and at the same time you could go explore sometimes and do some side stuff. It was really great, and also the real open world that is really successful, I think, at being cohesive and packed and balanced is Ghost of Tsushima for me. It's the best open world I've played this generation, because there is just the right amount of stuff to do. And when you're done, and that's it. You are happy to have finished the game, and you play your next game, and that's it.
Exactly.
I really love this game.
Yeah, it gets very tricky because it has to do with speed too, because you have games like open world Spider-Man games, right? I'm not doing fast travel ever. I'm always swinging. I'm always swinging around. But if I'm playing a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, right? I love that game a lot. Okay, and I do love going on the horse and traveling to wherever I got to go, even though it's a long trip. It's just like the atmosphere and actually of immersing yourself in being a cowboy around those times. I get it, but sometimes that horse is slow as hell, and it's like I just want to go here. And each mission is only 1%, so I'm gonna be on this game for a while. But now when I think of Panzer and it's open world, I'm on a dragon. I'm gonna be flying. I'm gonna be pretty quick, So like, if it's a big world, I'm gonna get there pretty quick. I'm not gonna be as slow as this horse, or slow as one of the dudes on foot, or like a Horizon when you're on one of those robot things and you're on it for a bit. No, you're gonna be going pretty quick, I would imagine, on a dragon, and I think that'd be pretty fun, seeing the environments and just going through stuff, and maybe running to some enemies on the way. I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, and that's, you bring up you mentioned the Spider-Man games. I was the same way. It's like the traversal was just so fun.
Yes.
Like, why wouldn't you do this?
I will never take a subway.
Yeah,
Spider-Man on the subway.
Subway, I know.
How dare you? But I think a happy medium when you have an open world game, and you have a lot of stuff to do in it, even if it's quality stuff. The option to fast travel should be there.
Yeah.
But for those who don't want to fast travel, just ride the dragon all the way.
Exactly.
Where you got to go.
That was like one I played recently that it surprised me with. It was a game that kind of went under a lot of people's radar. Was Rage 2. And
I've heard about that.
So Rage
6 mess with that.
Yeah, and I ended up having a ton of fun. I mean, the story's there. There really isn't much of one. It's an open world FPS game. And it was made by co-developed. So it was Avalanche who did the Just Cause series. So
I like
they have the vehicular stuff pretty well down pat. And that's what made traversal easy and fun in that game. Is you could the sci-fi setting, you could summon your car to you and just drive. And driving around was pretty quick and painless.
That's awesome.
And then you get out and you run around and do stuff, and which I should add, the gunplay in that game was done by id, so mostly like the Doom team, so the gunplay felt fantastic, and it was a lot of fun to play through. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but again, you mentioned the traversal. If that's what brought that to mind, because yeah, you can get off and you can run around, but if I have to fly over to the other side of get to the other side of the map, I'm gonna hop on a dragon. I mean, if that option's there,
yeah, absolutely.
and you just get to take in the world.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing from a design standpoint in open world games. The world itself almost has to be a character. You have to care about it. You have to want to look around and explore. And thankfully, with its history and its art design, I think that's something Panzer has in spades. And I think that presents a very real and interesting opportunity to do that, to have that traversal and exploration aspect to it.
Yeah. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
And and with that comes potentially another opportunity to, about the content, about the story. Obviously, the original game didn't have too much side stuff, and it was limited by the storage. It already had 4 discs, and even then, I think the original dev team had to dump some content. I don't know if you heard about that. For instance, the story about Crayman. Normally, there should have been more story elements about this character, but they had to remove it because of due to limitation. Storage limitation.
Or like his crazy henchman with the mask that was like screwing with you the whole game. Like he just disappeared halfway through the story. I never saw him again.
You mean Gash? The guy with the mask?
not Gash. When at the beginning of the game, there was Crayman, and he had I think he had 2 underlings that were with him. And one of them was kind of like very clearly his lieutenant. This was the military guy. And he was actually a boss fight at one point. And then he had this other guy who was very, kind of the typical anime crazy guy. And he had this weird helmet or mask on him, and he was like, "I love killing people," just running around. And he shows up again at one other point in the game, and he messes with you, and then he leaves. And then he just, if I recall, I could be completely blanking on this, and he died at some point in a cutscene or something. But as far as I recall, he just kind of vanished from the story.
Oh, I wish I could.
No, there's a point he comes back.
It's been so long since I played it.
There's a point he comes back, and you fight him in Uru. You defeat him. You defeat him.
Okay. I'm just, it's one of the banes about playing a game while interacting with a chat and trying to hold conversations and stuff. It's like some stuff I think that may have slipped by me. So,
but yeah, I think maybe it's something when I say that's going to sound mad to touch this game and potentially add content. We don't know about that, but. That's also one of the ideas we have in our pocket. So,
if it fleshes out the story, I don't see why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Obviously, we need to be careful about that, but maybe we shall see. But maybe if we can involve the right people, maybe talk to some people from the original team who want to write some chapters. I don't know. It could add to the. But yeah, I don't know if you have more questions about the gameplay, what we want to, what we have in mind. I don't know. I don't want to give away free stuff. You need to earn it, guys. You need to ask questions.
It's like you're getting too much out of me right now.
But no, that's
we're going to see the Olivier cut of Panzer Dragoon Saga.
There you go.
Yeah. He's gonna be a playable character in it. Yeah, he's gonna put his face on a dragon.
Me? No. The patrons, yes, maybe.
Hey, there you go. Hey, I'm about to hold on 1 second. Let me just.
If you want to be an NPC, we have no. I think there's.
Hey, just takes out his wallet and throws it at the camera.
Yes, seriously, take all the money. Take all of it.
No. I'm just kidding. But
no, that's. I don't know. The conversation, I mean, that we're having here is certainly making me more excited for it, because like the idea of this remake possibly going the route of what FF7 remake did.
Yeah,
I hadn't really thought of that. Like that's
scary and
that's
incredibly good.
Exciting. It's very exciting. Yeah, to see a remake of Panzer Dragoon Saga flush out the world more, you know, to get to spend more time with these characters, to get to see how these things work, because you know we know, like Panzer players, we know Empire's bad. We know that.
Yeah.
But why? You know, just yeah. So and doing side quests in that vein could just help with the world building, and that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine if the side quests were kind of like part 1 and 2, like a little quick run and gun shooting. You know what I'm saying? And then like
that would be awesome.
And then the main world to be like, you know, how Panzer Saga plays, you know, like the role playing way, but like side quests play like 1 and 2. I mean, there's so many ways you could play with it. There's just so many ways.
Giving away gems right now.
Yeah,
bro.
you know.
Yeah.
Hey, you can take that, use it. I don't care. I'm not, that's all you. You can take that.
Oh,
but it'd be epic. It would be epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, what I like about this, the team of developers working on that is they understand the original game. They love the original game. They all played it. And they understand where, from a marketing perspective, I think the original game was released in a very poor PR condition. You know, they did not communicate about it. We did not really understand what the game was. There is so many opportunities to hype the game about, you know, the dragon, how epic it could be to transform. I mean, there are so many opportunities to do something epic in terms of communication about this game, and I think that the developers we work with really understand that. So I'm really optimistic about it. Yeah. But obviously, we don't want to overpromise things. But again. Back. Yes, I'm back.
That's Sega. Sega's like, calm down over there.
Yeah, so I think, as you said, we need to shoot for the moon. If we try something, we need to. If they have a vision, we should really try to achieve that. So the fans, the voice of the fans will make a difference, and obviously the discussion we will have. Sega as well, but we want to start sharing more and more stuff going forward in the next time.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been super easy for you guys to drop one piece of concept art and say like Panzer Dragoon remake. Just,
exactly.
And you guys clearly are putting a lot of work into this and understanding that, you know, hey, we need to actually show something off, that this isn't just to show that the intention is there, you know, that this isn't just a means of cashing in on people's nostalgia, either in terms of actual financial gain or goodwill. I think it's been handled well so far. Cause when I looked at the Patreon, I was like, oh, this has been up for a while. And I realized like, oh no, this launched like 3 weeks ago. This is still very fresh.
Yeah.
And so no, I commend you guys. It's best to let these kind of things grow more organically. Because I mean, hell, that's been my experience of business. It's like you can buy all the ad space you want, but if you don't have good word of mouth, man, you're not getting anywhere.
It's true.
So
yeah,
it's very true.
Yeah. So I mean, they have been working on this project for quite some times now. In the background, you know, on their free time, they could have been waiting, and who knows where it would have gone. I think at some point when I think they have been working hard on this already, as much as they can, obviously on their free time because they have a day-to-day job. But at some point, I think you need to start showing something and sharing it with the public, and I'm glad they did because, as I said, I have not seen any alternative to this so far. If you guys have seen something, let me know, but I haven't.
Nope.
So I think it's better than nothing to start showing what we have already. I've seen one person in a French forum telling me that we should have been waiting until we have a playable demo. Okay, we do this on our free time. You want us to do what? Spend our days and give up on our job and have no paycheck at the end of the month? I mean, people sometimes are not realistic about what they are demanding. We are not Capcom. We are not Nintendo. You know, this team can grow, and I think it has the potential to grow. And yeah,
and that's been my thought too. It's like I know some people that could be some pretty powerful champions for this, like people who've expressed on Twitch that have expressed love of Panzer Dragoon Saga. But I know that it's like you don't want to throw something their way too early necessarily. I understand, because there are probably a lot of people who would say, well, there's no playable demo. What's the point right now? But I'm certainly talking this thing up.
Yeah, absolutely. You're off to a good start.
Thank you for your
you guys
support.
are off to a good start.
Yeah. I mean, your support is important to us. If you tell us, I mean, you can tell us if we do shit. You know, no problem. I mean, if it's shit, tell us how it is. But that's not the feedback I've had so far from the fans. So it's important for us to know that we are going in the right direction. If there is something that the fans wants to see addressed, obviously the patrons will have a say first. And then when we have public updates, then the whole community can talk about it. But yeah, as you said, we want to do things in the correct order and build sort of momentum. And demos will come. There is definitely something coming. They are building, some blocking levels. I'm learning things. I'm not from this industry. I'm not from the gaming industry, but I've always been attracted by it. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning things as well when working with these guys, and they are definitely working on cool things. So obviously the patrons will see that first, and I hope it will be soon.
Yeah, and but let me go back. I do want to apologize. I don't want to make it sound like I'm crapping on what you guys have done so far, because what you guys have done thus far is very impressive. But yeah, I just know how people within this weird industry that has grown up around content creation and YouTube and Twitch and all this stuff, and how, to get people's attention where things need to be, or where they feel they should be, I should say, versus where they are. I'm sorry. I didn't want to sound like I was coming down on you guys.
No. I was not talking about you.
Yeah.
As I said, the large majority is very supportive. Criticism is okay, but I've seen a few personal attacks, which is something we will not.
Oh, that's always going to happen. Yeah,
it's the internet.
That's it. They some people just can't control themselves. They want things when they want them, and they don't care about the whole process.
Yeah, they're children.
Yeah, they're a bunch of kids. But yeah, there's kids. They hide behind computers and just try to make people, ambitious, successful people, miserable like they are. That's what they do. But they're the Panzer community is very passionate, and those people will always outweigh the bad ones. So that's that's not even going to be an issue. As long as you stay transparent and let people know what's going on and what you're thinking of, and you get feedback, everyone will enjoy it. Everyone's fine with that.
Yeah, you guys are gonna knock it out the park.
Yeah. So I mean, I have nothing but when somebody has passion behind a project like this, I just kind of know it's just going to go in a direction it's supposed to. So it just just keep working, and I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting patiently, That's it. I'll be just sitting here quiet and just wait until I see something. I'm like, oh, there it goes. It's finally out. But I mean, it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It's got to be on the level of Final Fantasy VII, because it deserves it.
That's what we aim for.
Yep. So it deserves it.
We'll do our best. And there will be public updates, some milestones when we reach, some stage in the development cycle. We will share some stuff publicly, and there will also be some stuff for the patrons. Something for everyone. We want to be transparent, as you said. So
Yeah.
we'll do our best. All right. Well, thank you for your support, guys. If you have no more questions about this project, I think we can phase to the last segment of this podcast, which is maybe, if you guys still have time, discuss a few.
I got time.
Yeah, same here.
We got time.
I'm good.
We got a lot of time.
We got time to talk about this Saturn.
It's COVID, man. Time is meaningless.
Yes. I've been sitting here before this even started.
Yeah.
I've been moved in 3 days.
It's like,
wow.
are you kidding? So you kidding me? I put on pants for this.
Yeah, 'cause you can't see below this right now. You can't see below the desk. You know, my bed's right there. No,
That's so awful. That is so. What am I doing?
I'm gonna have nightmare stuff, guys.
What?
How did you get here?
What?
How'd you get in my rumpus room?
Yeah, why are you in my room, man? What's going on?
Oh man.
Yeah, so we discussed some Saturn games already. So I believe that you guys have some of the Saturn library games that you would like to see come back in some form. Yeah. So what would you start with if you had a magic wand?
Oh. Where to start is the question.
Yeah, it's like there's so many.
I'm starting with Guardian Heroes.
Guardian Heroes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good way to start.
I'm Guardian Heroes.
Now, would you like to see a remake of the first one, or would you rather see a sequel?
If it's the same cast from the first one, I'll see a sequel. If not, I would see a remake first.
See, same art style.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you could update that beautifully too.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Streets of
man.
Rage style. Streets of Rage
Yeah,
style.
seriously.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the elemental effects in?
Oh, God.
Yeah, with modern like particle effects and lighting and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
Then I'd have to pick Randy every time.
You'd have to pick Randy all the time.
Oh man.
No, Guardian Heroes that's overdue. That is overdue.
Ooh.
Definitely.
Oh God. So pretty.
I'm probably in the boat. Like I just want Sega to make racing games again. Because I mean, we've gotten a few. I think what was the most recent? Like Daytona 3 was in arcades like 4 years ago, I think. Something like that. But for them to, if we could get another run at like Sega Rally Championship or my personal favorite arcade racing game and series is Outrun. And I understand that is a tricky order because it's very tied to the Ferrari license, and Ferrari is not cheap. Nope, to keep that going. But I would love to see them, even if they had to just completely reboot it. Completely divorced from the Ferrari identity. Which I think it's been long enough. I think that would be okay. They did that for the Sega Ages port of the original game on Switch. It's like it's I don't know what they would call it. They call it like a Ferrari Schmisterosa or something. It's like it looks like it, but it clearly doesn't have the badging and everything.
You could dance around that. You could dance around it.
Yeah, but I would say for Saturn, if I had to get weird, man, Burning Rangers.
Oh,
remake of Burning Rangers.
That's also on my.
To be honest,
awesome.
I think that's probably close to like top 3 because if you think of what that game was, like fire, right? Fire everywhere. Imagine that.
So underrated.
Imagine that nowadays. The fire and water effects nowadays.
Yeah, and again, it reminded me. I haven't finished it. I've only played it very briefly, but it reminded me of Saga in the sense that I was like, this is incredibly ambitious for its time and what they're trying to do. And I would love to see a modern take on that. I think that would be a blast to play through. So get a full remake of it.
I've never played this game, and I heard so many good things about it. I already reached this kind of project happen, as you said. And I don't know if you've seen that, but there is a fun project currently being made. But
they're trying to do like a remastered. It's more like a remaster than like an actual remake. But it looks clean. Like it looks really, really clean.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. But I think some of them could use a remaster, but most of them I would love a remake for.
Just
I
full
would
on
just,
remake,
I mean,
yeah.
for that, I would just update the graphics and because the character design was dope.
Characters fun, yeah. Characters fun, yeah.
And I would throw in multiplayer,
yeah.
But
Yeah.
fighting.
you know, if you want to attract a new audience to this game, I don't know if a simple remaster is enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New generations, I'm not sure if they would be sold on a simple remaster.
Yeah.
It would be
That's
cool
why
for preservation.
remake would have to
Yeah.
do it.
But like, could you imagine like Burning Rangers with a multiplayer fast online co-op?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have like up to 4 people running in and taking on a fire.
That it actually looks like fire.
in different,
Yeah.
different areas of
Yeah.
a factory or a building. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Absolutely.
Oh, it would be fantastic.
God. Madness. No, that would be a really real sick one.
And the music.
Yeah.
You gotta keep those cheesy songs too. I love the cheesy.
That last stage. What was it? I can't remember. Was it the very last stage of the game when you're in? I think you're in their ship and you're just flying through something, and then that cheesy song.
I think it is. I love the cheesy song. It reminds me of Sonic R.
Yeah.
With all
It was Sonic Team. So
yeah, it's
makes
that
perfect
whole
sense.
Yep, those cheesy songs just made me laugh all the time.
Oh,
That and then
Burning Rangers is such a good pick.
Yeah, I wish we would find out because Sega's been teasing it. I wish they would tell us what the hell they're going to be doing with Virtual Fighter, because they've been teasing something
For a bit, they've been teasing stuff about Virtual Fighter.
I saw something this morning. Was it today or yesterday about a rating having leaked about Virtual Fighter.
Final Showdown got rated in Australia, I believe. So it would be a little disappointing if it's just like we're getting a port of Virtual Fighter 5, which I mean it's a very good game, but I think fans of the series have been clamoring. It's like, can we get Virtual Fighter 6, please?
Yeah, Sega's been on fire with the bad announcements for the past year. They've been hyping it up, and then it's like, what is it? Oh, it's a Game Gear Mini or or
that hurt my feelings.
I wanted to. And they hyped up some game or whatever, and it was like this game called Humankind. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You guys you're trolling me. You're definitely trolling me for no apparent reason. Like they're notorious for these terrible announcements, and they hype them up. And I think someone even said, "Oh, it's on the level of the announcement of PS5," and it was just like,
no, it wasn't.
You like you got me so hyped. I'm like, oh, they coming out with a Dreamcast 2 or something? Was good, like that's how Sega fans are. We get this, we get our hype up because we're like, maybe we could see all these games come back, and then they give you crap, and it's like, oh.
Well, we got a Dreamcast 2. It was called the Xbox.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
man.
much. A game. Obviously, Chalk already knows what I'm about to say.
No.
Oh, you don't know?
What are you going to
say?
Yeah,
the number one remake that I would love to see from the Saturn is my favorite game all time. Shining Force 3 needs to be remade, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen it or even played the game, but
no. I heard some fans talking about it.
It's probably on the level of how criminal it is that Panzer Saga didn't get what it deserves. It's on the same level of that, if not maybe a little bit worse on what happened to Shining Force 3.
You said it was Japan only, right?
No, the messed up thing is it's divided up into 3 scenarios, 3 different main characters, and they come together at the end. We only got the first one in the US. Scenario 2 and 3 came out in Japan only. And they have a premium disc that was Japan only, where you could pick any character from any of the scenarios, fight bosses from anybody in part 3, part 2, and part 1. And they only released scenario 1, which has, main character. You find 15 something characters. Awesome game, great story, but you only get that half of the story. Part 2, or should I say scenario 2, you get another main character and you see everything from his side.
Yeah.
And then part 3, he pops in scenario 1, he pops in scenario 2, and then he has his own game in scenario 3, and you all come together at the end and face the boss. And the story is incredible. Characters, great artwork, action, it's one of the craziest games it is the craziest game I've ever played. And, with those Saturn graphics, it just, no, you need that remade. It needs to be remade so bad. And yeah, I had to play I think they did a translation online. They translated scenario 2 and scenario 3, which I hopped all over because I played the Japanese one and I never knew what the hell they were saying, but I played through it. But, oh my gosh, I played it a month ago. I still play that game to this day, and it's incredible.
Would you give up Fire Emblem for Shining Force?
Easily.
Wow.
And I love Fire Emblem.
He didn't even hesitate.
I love
no,
Fire
yeah,
Emblem.
no hesitation in that.
I love Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn for the GameCube and the Wii. And they're in my top games all time, but Shining Force 3, no, in a heartbeat. That's my favorite game all time. And what's happened to that is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. But I don't know who I would trust to remake it. It would scare me, It's like I don't know who would do it. But yeah, that's number one on my list, definitely.
Well,
okay.
Again. Dragon Force 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Dragon Force 1 because it was a super fun game. I played it. I played through every last scenario available. There were 8 kingdoms?
Yeah, 8 kingdoms.
I played through all of them.
Yeah.
It's a tactical RPG, right? Or
Yeah, strategy.
It's
RPG
like
kind of?
strategy. It's its own thing. I've never seen a role-playing game play like that.
I've seen footage where basically people just posting like footage of the battles, and you have like hundreds of sprites.
Yes,
just like on lines and launching attacks and doing stuff. Again, I'm actually kind of still fairly new to the Saturn, so a lot of the RPGs on the system passed me by. But yeah, Dragon Force always struck me as one that was like, I've not seen anything like this.
There's nothing,
especially
like
not from that era.
Yeah, and then the sequel was Japanese only, and I played through that.
That was translated recently too.
Yeah,
I gotta get you that. No, you gotta check that out.
I gotta play the translated version.
Yeah, there was a fan translation. I think that cropped up in the last year and a half or so.
And Turbo 857 helped out with that.
Oh, nice.
Of our channel. Yeah, he actually helped make that happen, and he has some of his cheesy dialogue in there that he added. Yeah, I read a line in there. I'm like, that was you, wasn't it? He's like, yeah, that was me. I'm like, yeah, I knew you couldn't resist. You had to say something cheesy, didn't you? But Dragon Force is known for little cheesy lines here and there. Yeah, they always have some. What was that one line that one guy said? I'll show you the true meaning of the word giblets. Like, what? I was like, what?
Excuse me?
That took me off guard. Like, giblets. Just the word alone makes me laugh. Yeah. Put that in a sentence.
Giblets.
But no, those are good picks. Those are. Oh my god, those games are so amazing.
Fighters Mega Mix.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to see a fight between a car and a bear, man. Come on.
That was weird.
I forgot that was even in there.
I forgot that was even possible. But like the Fighting Vipers squad and the Virtua Fighter squad, that was.
Oh, that's right. The Virtual Cop. Yeah, Virtual Cop. Yeah, Virtual Cop.
It was the big crossover game.
Yeah, and all the characters from Virtua Fighter was in it too.
Yep.
That was the best crossover game before Marvel started doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Like, what if that was the announcement that Sega had for Virtua Fighter?
Any of those is fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Any of those is fine. Just give us some hope, not humankind.
Yeah.
What the hell is humankind? I don't know what that is. I don't care about it. I don't.
I would say Last Bronx, but we already have Soul Calibur.
I just gotta turn around. Yeah. Let me see. Actually, there's some games over here.
You know?
Saturn. That wasn't on the Saturn.
Knights.
Oh, Knights. I would like a Knights.
Yeah, we could do Knights over again. We mentioned
we mentioned Burning Ranges already. Al.
The thing is about Knights, many people have already requested this one, but I think they tried to remake it on what was it, on the GameCube, or I'm not sure. They
don't recall.
They ported it
they ported it. I know.
Yeah, they definitely ported it,
and I think it did not sell enough according to them. I'm not sure, but that's why I feel.
Yeah, maybe it didn't hold up well according to what they were expecting.
Yeah. Very possible.
But yeah,
sequel then.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That game was ahead of its time.
I'd take a Knights on the Switch. Even just remastered from the port they did like that. Just a street. Even that just simple stuff like that on the Switch. I mean, it's the small screen of the Switch helps hiding the terrible graphics, even if it's a little bit better than the Saturn. I think that's the Switch helps on that front. So
Yeah. I think also I always forget this game when I talk about Saturn, but I remember liking it a lot. Legend of Oasis.
Oh yeah.
Legend of Oasis.
Oh yeah.
That's a forgotten Sega series. The Legend Beyond Oasis for the Genesis was dope, and
just
then
make a sequel.
Yeah, that's fine. That was
a sequel because nowadays summoning those spirits would be so fun.
Yeah, and the combat was dope.
Yeah,
combat was very good in that game.
Absolutely.
Not many people had that either.
What kind of game is that? Excuse my.
Yeah, it's not one I'm familiar with either.
Yeah, I think that's probably one that probably wasn't released too much either. I think it was like a Zelda. It was like a Zelda type game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like a
and
Zelda.
You could you had this gauntlet and you could use it to summon elemental helpers. So if you shoot it in the water, you get a water fairy that would heal you.
Udine, I think her name was, and then you have Ifrit for the fire. Yeah, then you had like the earth and stuff like that, and
it was kind of like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah,
it would literally eat your enemies.
Yeah, it had like dungeons like Zelda, and but depending on what element that you had, all right, let me go to this one because I could unlock certain areas in this dungeon, and cool. The combat was good. You could do like all these kicks and stuff like that, and cool slashes. It was awesome. It really was an awesome game.
How many different weapons did you have in that game? Like 3 or 4?
Yeah, something like that. They had more in the second one, but check out a playthrough if you get the chance. Like look it up on YouTube. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
And it was on the Saturn.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first one was on a Genesis. The second one was on a Saturn.
Is it more like straight Legend of Zelda, or is it more like Illusion of Gaia? A bit more RP.
More Zelda.
More Zelda. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I get more Zelda from it. It was good. It was really
That's cool.
good.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
That was like towards the end of the Saturn. They're like, here goes all these awesome games, but we're done.
Yeah. That was the big thing with Saga was by the time that game came out, they're like, nah, we're on Dreamcast now. We don't care.
Like, come on. You give us the best thing. You've been holding all these awesome games and now it's over. Oh, come on with that, man. I'm so upset.
Another game that was good was Magic Knight Ray Earth.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you got to make that 3-player.
Magic Knight Ray Earth. I think there was less copies of that than Shining Force. I
have a copy and it's still in good condition. I could probably get a decent amount of money on that.
You can sell that. You can sell
maybe. We'll see.
And that's based off of anime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anime. Yeah, with the 3 girls, red hair, blue hair.
Yeah, I have seen that one.
Green hair, yeah.
Yeah, and they all have mecha, like giant mechs that they get into.
Yeah, I don't even think you had that. I don't think we owned that.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah,
I didn't know anybody else that owned it.
Yeah, I don't think we had that. And that was another hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many hidden gems on that piece of hardware though.
It's upsetting.
It is upsetting.
It gets me sad. It gets me legit sad. Trying to think this.
You know what? If they redid Dragon Ball Z Legends, I would be up for that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would be up for that. Could you imagine with the Dragon Ball Fighters graphics, the way that game plays?
Oh yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah,
especially the way the new game looks. The new game looks
Our art system.
But then again,
man,
it's that. Then that was the precursor for Xenoverse. Now that I think about it, so never mind. Yeah, it was pretty much the precursor for Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Was Grandia 2 Saturn?
No, Grandia 1
that was Dreamcast.
Grandia 1.
Grandia 1 was Saturn.
2 was Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I always mix up Dreamcast and Saturn because Skies of Arcadia was Dreamcast.
That Grandia 2.
Yeah. Grandia 2 was something special too. That was
All right, but we're digressing right now.
I'm gonna start getting more sad.
Yeah. Now we're gonna start reminiscing about Dreamcast games.
What else? Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
I have a picture somewhere of some Dreamcast games that I posted. Hold on 1 second.
I bought the Grandia collection on the Switch, but I could not continue the game. It reminded me when we talked about that earlier about how some games have aged. Sometimes in all games you don't know exactly what you have to do, and early in the game I was a bit lost. I didn't know where to go, and I didn't really have fun. So, but I need to try again because I heard so many good things about grunge. I need to try again. Sometimes it's hard to go back to these old games.
Yeah.
Loaded
You need
was
to
on Sega
force
Saturn.
yourself.
Oh, Loaded.
Which one?
Yeah,
Loaded.
Loaded.
it's a top view shooter.
Oh, it's a shmup.
Hyper violent. I would play that.
Dude, in that vein, did we ever get a port of Radiant Silvergun?
I don't think so. A port of Radiant Silvergun? I don't think we ever got that.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Because Saturn did have a couple of really good shmups on it.
Yeah.
That was one. I know we've gotten ports of Darius Gaiden. But
no, Radiant Silvergun would be dope. That'd be really good. I think that'd be a lot easier than the other ones we've been naming. Like,
yeah, it would.
yeah, like it'd be a lot easier. Like just clean it up a little bit and make the explosions bigger, and you're good.
Yep. Port it.
These other ones are less like, oof, they're daunting projects, but you pull it off. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Man.
That make me really happy.
I'm just also thinking if we could get a modern take on, with full online and everything, a true modern take on Virtua On. Ooh, that would be nutty.
I think they released one for PS4, but it was Japan only.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah, I miss getting those games.
That was a fun game, and that's not even my type of game to play either. I had fun with that. That was fun. That was really fun.
It's the game with the mecha, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never owned the game, but I had the demo on a demo disc, and I played quite a bit of it. Yeah, of this demo.
Yeah, and in the arcade, it was like you were sitting in a full cockpit with
the big sticks, the twin sticks.
With the twin sticks and the triggers. Oh man, that was an experience. That was definitely an experience.
Those days back when it's like, screw it, if it only works for one game, we're gonna make this crazy controller for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's. Oh man, that's one of the things that I gravitated to with the Saturn. How many goofy controllers I have for this stupid thing. It's like, do I need an arcade racing wheel? No, but did I buy one? Yes.
I just want it. That's all.
I just want it. It's a steering wheel.
And remember, the controller that Knights came with was probably the basis of what other controllers.
Yeah, it's the first analog. Yeah, it's like the first analog I ever messed with.
Yeah.
I got mine right over there. But it's the saucer pad, how like that was clearly the inspiration for the Dreamcast pad. And I don't know. It's like it's kind of loosely connected. I was gonna say it was made by Sammy, but there's now Sega Sammy. But yeah, that's like I have a buddy who's let me something I'm gonna be doing upcoming. A buddy of mine let me Steel Battalion.
Oh,
on the Xbox. Somebody brought up
that name has been coming up a lot lately.
Somebody in my chat brought was like, have you ever considered playing that Xbox mech game with a big goofy controller? I was like, I would, but sorry guys, I don't have it. And then of course my buddy happens, he's like, I have one. And it's just like, damn it, now I gotta.
That's how it happens. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Fun story that actually on that, the PAX South, the Penny Arcade Expo they would do in San Antonio over in Texas. Every year they would do a Steel Battalion tournament. And it was 10 consoles with 10 of those controllers, 10 TVs, and it was a LAN party. And they were like, all right, we got signups. Let's get going.
Wow. That's cool though.
It was crazy to watch.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. I remember LAN parties, man.
I can't wait for PAX and all these other things to open up again.
Yeah.
Soon, hopefully. Soon.
Next year.
Next year. I think it'll be next year.
Yeah.
Definitely. In-person conventions are coming back next year, I believe.
Yep.
Can you think of anything else?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I would love. I'm a light gun fan. I would love Virtua Cop to come back, but light gun games on modern hardware is a bit of a tricky proposition.
Yeah.
Because you got to use motion controllers or cameras of some kind.
Yeah, I
But
think that they're probably still trying to figure that out because I really don't know what.
since they are remaking House of the Dead, don't you think that Virtual Club could be potentially next?
It's potentially, yeah. I would. I guess it. Yeah, I know PlayStation and Switch already have the means in place to do that pretty easily. I don't know. Well, we're gonna have to see how the motion controllers for the PlayStation 5 shake out because I know they're changing the design for the VR. But yeah, if somebody could get something similar to the like the Sinden light guns working on modern consoles, oh, that would be glorious. Because then you think you could just throw anything at them and it work.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hope so. I mean, I hope that. I mean, those. I used to have fun with the House of Dead, 1 and 2, and those are
Those are
good.
fun in the arcade.
Yeah, fun.
I
Even on
heard
the console.
I haven't played it. I've heard House of the Dead 4 is pretty awesome, but it's arcade only, I believe.
I think so. I don't think 3 was on what? 3 was on
Wii.
Wii, right?
Wasn't there a game for Saturn called Zombie Revenge or something like
Yeah,
that?
Zombie Revenge. That was a co-op shooter.
It was a co-op shooter?
Yeah, it was a co-op third person.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Zombie Revenge.
I thought it was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah, beat 'em up. Yeah, shoot 'em up. It's a combination of guns and punching, stuff like that. It was wacky. It was but it was cool.
They
though.
should remake that.
That was cool.
And another fun one to throw out there, Cannon Spike.
Yeah.
That was Saturn or was that Dreamcast?
I believe that was was it? No, Cannon Spike. No, you're right. Cannon Spike was Dreamcast. What is the one I'm thinking of?
Yep, I'm looking at Cannon Spike from here. It's actually we have it right over there. I'm like, yep, that's Dreamcast.
No, that is Dreamcast. There was one that was similar to it.
But I would still like that.
Was it
Die Hard Arcade? Yes.
Update that game.
Die Hard Arcade.
Was it Dynamite Cop? Was that it? Thinking of it was a 3D brawler.
Dynamite Deca?
Maybe. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember.
Because I know there was Die Hard Arcade and there was Dynamite Deca, where the main character looks like Seinfeld.
Yeah. what was the game? It was a 3D brawler, and the announcer had this goofy voice. Like if you picked up ammo, it said bullets, and it was like super loud.
Oh, this is gonna bother me.
Yeah, I'm just like it's tip of the tongue. I can see it.
Oh, that's gonna bother me.
Because you could sit there and shoot somebody with a gun, and then when the bullets ran out of the gun, you could just throw the gun at them.
I almost feel like it's Dynamite Deca.
I think it is done. It might be Dynamite Deca.
Are you fighting pirates in that game, or?
I think so. I think it is Dynamite Deca.
Yeah, then it might be Dynamite Deca.
Okay.
I always forget when Die Hard came out, Die Hard Arcade and Dynamite Deca. If it was Dreamcast, if it was I always goof those up all the time. But both of them are fun, ridiculously fun, but the concept is so stupid. Like there's so much stupid shit going on, but it's fun though. I enjoy it. The combat's so good. But that'd be another good one. That'd be another great one.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There's so many.
Yeah, so many great picks here. It's such a long list of games.
Some of the goofier Capcom fighting games like Final Fight Revenge or Cyberbots or they really wanted to get weird. Was it Star Gladiator on that system?
Star Gladiator. That's definitely PlayStation.
That was PlayStation. You're right.
Star Gladiator was cool.
Yeah, there was Toshinden was PlayStation. Then it came out for the Saturn too.
Yeah, Toshinden Remix. I remember that.
And that was nasty. Oof. That was so nasty. And the Resident Evil looks so nasty.
The main character, Star Gladiator, was in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes, he was.
Hayato,
something like that.
Yeah,
he was fun.
I honestly think that the best, the ones that really are in need of a remake, like the 3 that we mentioned. Obviously, I'm biased. Shining Force 3, of course. Shining Force 3, Panzer Dragoon saga, obviously, and Burning Rangers. But I think Burning Rangers, those 3 to me scream out like it has to happen as soon as possible. Of course, the other ones do need it also, but like those 3, geez, those got to be done. Those got to be done now.
Yeah.
Like now.
So Sega, you heard them.
And if someone could get me a meeting with Sega, just me, You know,
Yeah.
I'll take care of
No,
it.
I need to talk to him a little bit too.
I could be a little intense, you know, so I don't know. It might be a little intimidating with 2 people, maybe coming after me.
We'll play good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop.
You,
There you
go,
go.
you do your bad cop thing, and then I'll come in and be like
After
the
security,
reasonable one.
after
Just
security
escort
throws
you
me
out.
out,
Yeah.
then you go in, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Security
sorry.
guys just say, "Get the Sanshiro." Just comes in.
Right now,
Sorry,
it's his son. It's his son doing the job. So I think you are safe.
Oh,
No,
man.
just kidding.
Hopefully one day these things get done. That'd be great.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So I think it's been a fun segment to discuss the games we would like to see come back. And I have just another question for you guys because I'm curious. What was the last game that you have finished?
The last game that I
Yeah.
finished. Last game I finished was I revisited Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the GameCube. I beat that like a couple of days ago. I'm getting back into my strategy role players again, and I would say Shining Force 3, but Turbo 857 of level 857 accidentally deleted my save file, so I had to and I just keep bringing it up. Yeah, I bring it up every chance I get.
Yeah,
I will always keep bringing it up. So
without fail.
So I went back to my second favorite, Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem, which is incredible. So that's what I beat recently.
I recently beat Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh.
Nice.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, did
So
you play
good.
it on which platform?
I played it on PS4, the PS4
Yeah?
Pro. Beautiful game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Beautiful. Like the visuals on that game, like you don't expect it. You're just walking by and you see the sun setting and you're on a mountain and you're just like,
That's
wow.
a lot. Yeah, it's incredible.
Ooh, yeah.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, the foliage, the vegetation, the environments, the wind. It's all so spot on.
Yeah.
It's
like this.
perfect.
This game took 4 years, and I don't care.
It was worth the wait. That game looks amazing, and it plays amazing, and the story's fantastic.
Did you ever do the multiplayer?
No, not yet.
I heard it was awesome.
We'll do that
it's
though.
Fun.
I heard it's really good.
Damn fun.
Well, we gotta get to that somehow on the channel. Yeah, we gotta get that.
I'm down.
Gotta get that going.
I am down.
Mine was oddly enough Panzer Dragoon Saga. Because I finished it on.
You did not finish another game since last week.
No,
just kidding.
I beat it on Tuesday, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I've been playing other stuff, but that's the last thing I saw credits on. So, yeah, it's it's very timely, very appropriate for this podcast.
Yeah. And I finished a game that was on my backlog for quite some time. I thought I would finish it on PS4 Pro, but then I had some other stuff coming, and now was the right time to finish it because it received a patch on PS5, 60 frames per second patch, which is Ratchet and Clank. And it's
cool.
It's a really good game.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
Oh, it's really nice. Visually, it's really nice. It's fun. And funnily enough, it's not that easy. I mean, at the end of the game, it starts becoming a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And I did not expect that, unless I'm really bad. But I don't know about it. But it was really a good game. Yeah.
And now you're set up for the next one on PS5.
Exactly. Yeah. The visuals really hold up, and the gameplay is visually nicer than the cutscenes because they are pre-rendered, so they probably did not upscale those. They still look nice, but you can tell that the engine has been upscaled.
And that was Ratchet and Clank's Insomniac, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it makes sense then. It's just they
are really good at
they do
especially
good
the bokeh depth of field is really incredible on this game.
Mm-hmm.
On all Insomniac games, I would say. Really enjoyed it. Yes, and as you said, I'm ready for the sequel coming. When is it? Is it in?
I think it's supposed
June?
to be. Yeah,
June?
this summer. It's this summer.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was a great discussion with you guys. It was really nice of you to accept the invitation to take the time to join for the podcast. It had been quite some time that I did not record anything with guests, so it was really friendly to have you. And maybe you can just let us know how the fans, how the viewers can connect with you. If you have social profiles or links, we can find you. I will drop the links below the video as well, but if you want to say a few words.
We are at level857 on just about everything. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Yeah, our TikTok is pretty fun. And definitely the YouTube channel, of course. And you can find our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mine, I'm at jflotrogdor on Twitter and Twitch. That's all I got right now. But yeah, I'm just keeping at it, plugging away.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, that's great. I will make sure I will include your links, guys, below in the description of this video. And I think that's it. Unless you have more questions, guys, about anything or things you want to discuss.
Just Sega, come find me.
Yeah.
That's it. Sega, I'm here, man. We gotta talk.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The message is sent.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for having me on here, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. So stay safe, and hopefully we will be in touch about Panzer Dragoon stuff in the future.
Of course.
Right. Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Take care, and speak to you soon.
All right.
Be good,
Thank
bro.
you.
Take
Been
care.
good talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too, man.
Have a good one, guys.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.